At first, we tried to keep it brief, but Cassie makes it clear that she wants the whole story. So we start with the first piece of treasure and go from there. Marina and I take turns talking, and filling in the blanks when the other starts to stumble or forget a detail. While we talk, Cassie finishes the prep work. That includes moving the stuff from the stove into trays to cool. Then she starts to set up the news stations for us to make treats. Other than occasionally asking for clarification on something, she doesn't even ever interrupt. I finish up the story with our arrival back in Las Vegas just yesterday. So she tells a version of the story that has more than even we know.
Yeah, cause like, I'm assuming that it's just like wacky, like highway adventures.
Yeah. When I'm done, Cassie looks at me, then Marina. She shakes her head.
Wow. That's really all I can say. Wow.
Told you it was pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, you sure did. I was expecting you to be high school sweethearts who eloped or something, not a John Wayne movie. Everyone's been talking about the gold, the journal, the people who found it. And Glass even wanted to do some promo event where we had gold-plated chocolate bars to capitalize on the hype. And here you are, helping me out. It's pretty surreal.
It's been one surreal moment after another for us. You get used to them eventually.
Maybe you do. The road sounds like a hell of a lot more interesting than things here.
This is Las Vegas, though. It's one of the most famous cities in the world. How's that not interesting?
I guess when you live here, you get used to it. Besides, the Las Vegas that people dream about is a scam. Full of gold, pretty much.
That's the way all cities are. They sound nicer from the outside until you're there and have to deal with the traffic and the people.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about, like, New York. Like, everyone's saying, like, oh, New York's the best city in the world. No, it's not.
Well, if you're in traffic in New York, you're making a mistake, because you never travel New York by car. But other than that, yeah, reasonable.
That is true. That is true. Like,
You have to excuse Amber. Sometimes she forgets how to have fun.
I'm just saying. I'll bet even Carlsbad sounds interesting when you're not from there.
hey, I can see it both ways. I moved out here because I thought it would be a lot different than what it is. Turns out the Las Vegas they try to sell you in TV, he isn't real.
Then she makes a chopping motion with her hands, starting to bustle around once more.
Right, well, famous treasure hunters or not, let's make some treats.
She ushers us over to one of the counters, where there are a few grocery bags full of supplies. At a glance, I can see marshmallows, butter, and crisped rice cereal. There's a lot of each. There's also a precarious stack of pans and utensils, plus a few boxes of plastic wrap. Finally, there are a few portable, single-burner stoves. All in all, it looks like something someone dumped off here and said, "Not my problem," about.
If you want, I can walk you through how to do it.
Before I can even respond or accept the heavy pan that Cassie's offering me, Marina cuts across and snatches it from her.
It's okay, I can show her.
For a second, Cassie looks a little taken aback, like she didn't expect to be challenged, but she shrugs.
Sure thing.
Cassie scoops up a few things from the bags and then slides one of the stoves further down the counter. Marina grabs supplies as well, doubling up on everything. Marina squeezes past me and turns on the burner, setting the heavy pan on top of it. Then she unwraps and drops a couple sticks of butter in.
First things first, you gotta melt these.
Right.
Here, chop it up. It'll make it go faster.
She hands me a knife, which I grip like a caveman and use to hack at the softening butter. The butter melts slowly, even though the flame underneath it is blazing brightly. While we wait, Marina starts to set up her own station a few feet away from mine. Soon it's become a thick pool. Marina hands me a bag of marshmallows.
Add these in slowly and stir them in so that they'll melt.
The whole bag?
2 bags, actually.
My teeth hurt just thinking about eating one of these. If you say so.
I do.
I pull hard, trying to tear open the bag, and eventually resort to using my teeth. That makes it split open, and a couple marshmallows bounce onto the counter and floor. I bend down to pick them up. 5-second rule. Horrified, Marina bats them out of my hand again.
Ew, no, gross!
It's just a marshmallow. What's gonna get onto it if it falls onto the counter? Those marshmallows are gonna come out of your paycheck.
Uh-huh. Just fire me in that case.
I lightly bounce a clean marshmallow off of Marina's forehead. Dork. She wordlessly tosses it into the trash with the ones from the floor.
Marshmallows, pan. Now.
I like that Cassie is still like I imagine that she's just watching this happen.
She understands that she understands the girlfriendness immediately.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I pour the marshmallows into the pan with the butter, where they almost immediately start to bubble and dissolve. Marina's still working on her butter, stirring it even though it's fully melted. What are you waiting on? Christmas?
It's my secret technique.
Burning it?
But that too.
Oh, this time she throws a marshmallow at me.
That one comes out of your paycheck.
I head back to my pan, where the marshmallows have mostly morphed into stringy paste. It clings to my spatula when I try to mix it. Are you sure we should add a second bag? This is pretty thick as it is.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I do what she says, and dump a second bag of marshmallows in. The pan is getting pretty full, and I have to be very careful with my movements to avoid spilling any. Meanwhile, Marina's just now adding her first bag of marshmallows into the butter. On my other side, Cassie is pouring a bag of rice cereal into her own pan. She holds it steady with one hand while she mixes the concoction with the other.
So, Cassie, how'd you end up in Las Vegas?
It was a couple of years ago now. Had a fight with my dad and left home. Couch surfed for a while, a day or two here, a month or so there, but I got sick of that and decided to settle down somewhere. I came out here because it felt fitting. In a dumb, kid, romantic way. Like you said, in Vegas, it's all about luck and good fortune, jackpots or busts. I thought that maybe I'd find some purpose or meaning out here. Figured out pretty quickly that life doesn't work like that. At least not that easy. But I decided since I came out the way out here, I might as well stay. Got a job at Sweet Tooth because I figured it'd be better working around something I care about than something I don't. And now, here I am.
Cassie sets down the bowl she was using and inspects Maya and Marina's progress. She nods approvingly.
Looking good. Go ahead and add in the cereal and let's move over here.
We do what we're told and regroup at one of the clean counters, where Cassie is waiting with several colorful jars and some plastic brushes.
You kids ready for craft time? We still got frosty suckers.
I pour mine into a large dish like Cassie did. Marina's still a couple minutes behind, mixing in her second bag of marshmallows. Carry the dish over and set it beside Cassie's. She hands me a knife.
So, go ahead and try to cut these in ovals. It's okay if they're not perfect.
She carves out her own batch like she's cutting a particularly tough steak, with a constant back and forth motion. She goes slowly and tries to keep the line straight. The curve is tough, but she managed to pull it off. Half a minute later, she plucks out a piece. It's kind of an oval, I guess. That's stretching the truth. It's more like a triangle.
Close enough. Go ahead and shove one of these in there.
She takes a popsicle stick and rams it into the treat. Then she pops open one of the jars of frosting.
Dunk 'em.
She jams this treat in as far as it'll go, until the frosting covers the whole thing. When she pulls it back out, the bit of excess drips back into the jar.
Give him a once over with the knife.
Deftly, she scrapes and spreads the frosting until it's smooth. While she's doing that, Marina joins us with her own tray. That smells really good. For some reason, Marina's having a different, richer smell than the stuff Cassie and I made.
I know, I told you, it's my secret technique.
What is it?
If I told you, it wouldn't be a secret anymore, now wouldn't it?
I just stare at her.
Okay, fine. If you brown the butter for a long time, it turns in super good.
Before she can protest, I use the knife Cassie gave me to pry off a tiny bit from Marina's cooling mixture and plop it in my mouth. Oh my god, that's amazing. It's rich and caramely, almost like toffee. It definitely puts mine to shame. I can see Marina struggle between yelling at me for stealing and being happy with the praise. She settles for a smug nod.
Can I try?
No. Marina begrudgingly cuts off a small piece and hands it to Cassie, who handles it as gently as a lump of gold. Marina watches intently as Cassie tastes it.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
Thanks!
Despite herself, I can tell Marina's struggling not to smile and appear nonchalant.
Okay, now that me and Amber have been put to shame, last step.
She rattles a bag of chocolate pieces that are shaped like thin discs.
Pick a couple of these bad boys and stick them on before the frosting dries.
Two of the discs get pressed in for my eyes. Get pressed in. Is that supposed to be in before my eyes? She also breaks off the corner of a third disc and attaches the. Oh no, it is. They're just making a face. Okay.
Yeah. And voila! It's good enough, and that's what counts.
It isn't perfect, but it's definitely a passable alien. For the final step, she mummifies it in plastic wrap, then tosses it in a large plastic bin.
Now we just gotta do this like 50 more times.
The direction's clear, all three of us get to work. It's fairly tough cutting through the marshmallow mass, which has already cooled and solidified a lot. I have to frequently change my angle or repeatedly stab a spot with the knife. A lot like when we were digging for treasure. Cassie also starts to melt the butter for another batch of treats. I finally managed to cut out a rough alien head shape from my tray. Cassie's first one was kind of triangular, mine is even further from the target. I don't think there's even a proper name for the shape, it's just a blob. The popsicle stick is easy, but when I try to dipping it in the frosting, only a little bit sticks. I pull it out and try again, but still can't get more than a third or so of it covered. Cassie is watching me, shrugs.
Don't worry about it, it's close enough.
You've got a pretty generous definition of close.
It's abstract art, something. How do we know aliens don't really look like that?
Good point. I press in the eyes on a small mouth, and then set it aside to be wrapped. How's yours going? I hover over Marina's shoulder, and this time she doesn't wave me away. She just finished frosting hers, leaving an artistic unfrosted spot near the neck. Using her fingernails, she snaps the chocolate discs into a more jagged eye shapes, and then hatches those, using one of the scraps for the mouth. She holds it up for me to see.
What do you think?
It's out of this world. Marina groans as she sets it down. What?
I love the face.
Yeah.
I love the face.
It's a judgmental face. Marina groans as she sets it down next to mine and Cassie's. All three of us huddle together, admiring, or in my case, pretending to admire, our handiwork. Cassie whittles in admiration as she picks up Marina's, turning it this way and that to inspect.
That looks Great. Good work. You get an A.
Told you guys I'm a pro.
Cassie pantomimes bowing in recognition of Marina's skill.
Amber, you get
You don't have to say it.
an A for effort.
I don't know if Amber's even putting in an A for effort.
A B for effort.
Yeah. You're more generous than any teacher I've ever heard of.
It's still one that I don't have to make myself, and that's more than enough. Only 48 left to go.
We get back to it, with Cassie sometimes pouring new batches of cereal mix into the trays for us to work with. It takes longer than I would have expected, but we managed to get them done. Oh? What does that mean? I'm just gonna...
I think that's just the Marina route.
Okay. There's a clear hierarchy in terms of skill. Marinas are nearly perfect and would fit in a well at the Roswell Museum. I wonder which one is Amber's. Cassie's are nice, even though the first one looks kind of rough, and it would fit in a cookbook, would fit right in a cookbook or something. Mine will probably be sold at a discount. After we finish wrapping all the treats, we move them all into a plastic bin. Cassie hoists that onto a small rolling cart, along with a few other boxes of homemade goodies. The aftermath is impressive. There are tons of dirty dishes and crumbs littering the counter. Cassie tosses most of the dishes into a sink to soak. Cassie checks the clock.
Looks like we finished just in time, too. We should get to the con right when it opens. Again, thanks a ton, you two.
It was fun.
I'm really glad to hear Marina say that. Yeah, it was. Although I get the feeling you could have finished faster without us.
No way. I'd have been at it the rest of the morning. Besides, having good company is just as important as having good help. Let me go dump all this in the van, and then we can get going.
She wheels the cart out and away, leaving Marina and I behind. The instant we're alone, Marina yawns, leaning against me.
Sleepy.
Hey, don't fall asleep. We've got a convention to go to. Did you let Tess know we'll be there soon? Marina's like, fuck! She jolts up straight.
Oh, shoot! I'll do that right now!
Marina pulls out her phone and frantically taps out a message.
I hope she sees it.
I'm sure she will. Isn't she pretty much always on her phone?
Yeah, most of the time.
She hasn't responded by the time Cassie returns, this time without the cart.
Ready to go?
Marina grabs my hand.
Ready!